Friends, this video is especially addressed to the young generation of India. My name is Nutan Tawakley. I have been a student of science and by qualifications I am an electrical and electronics engineer. I am especially making this video because of my experience today. Today, while I was in the market, one of the shop owners just asked me as I was waiting for my cab that why is it that today's younger generation is getting leftist minded and is supporting anti-Indian and anti-government movements such as CA, etc. and is also getting against the Hindu religion and Hindu traditions. Friends, I am an engineer and at the same time I have also studied more than 400 ancient Indian texts in the last 50 years. These include most of the Upanishads, Tantra texts, astrology, Puranas, Vedas, Ayurveda texts, Sutras, Samhitas, etc. This is besides the Ramayana and Srimad Bhagavad Gita by about 6 authors. I can tell you with great confidence that we as Indian society do not know even 1% of the knowledge contained in our texts. What today's modern science knows is nothing compared to the knowledge contained in ancient Indian texts. How powerful this knowledge, I shall come to that later. But first of all, I would like to exhort the younger generation to understand that today India is in grave danger. I shall first discuss the question that the shop owner asked me about younger generation having leftist views. We all know very well through the social media that a large section of Muslim population is grossly anti-India and especially anti-Hindu. We all know that very well. Along with them, there is also a huge number of Hindus who are also working against the present government and India and trying their level best to somehow oust the Modi government by any means whatsoever. But friends, there is another front which is invisible to all of us, but at the same time is highly active in working against not just the present Indian government but also the Hindu religion and interests of India. They want to erase Hindu religion from the face of the world. They have several objectives on their agenda. First, to undermine and denigrate Hindu religion under any pretext and especially using the term caste. Second, to raise foolish questions about Hindu religion and as today's younger generation knows nothing about our ancient texts, to make them flounder and make them accept their theories about society and promote it as modern liberal thought and liberal arts, effectively molding the mind of the young Hindu generation to discard Hinduism. Third, to indirectly support Muslim community and project them as oppressed community. And fourth, by vitiating the sentiments of both Muslims and young Indian generation against Hinduism and ensure that the present government does not come into power again. Friends, you will be surprised to know that the nerve center of all this activity is the Harvard University of United States. Friends, you will also be shocked to know that they are using Indian money, they are using Indian people, they are using India's educational infrastructure and they are using India's intellectual properties. They are doing all this in order to realize their nefarious objective, as I stated above. How they are doing it, I will tell you now. Remember that when the British came to India some 1000 years back, they also used Indian money, Indian people, and India's infrastructure to plunder and loot India. This is what is being done now again. The kingpins are again the white people. Now, how they are using Indian money? They are inviting big business magnates from India to deliver lectures in their universities. They name a building or a hall in the name of the business people and accept huge donations from them. So they are using a huge amount of Indian money. They are promoting only those Indian students who talk against India and prop them up to higher stage using their clout. The Western intelligentsia has taken up clues from Marxism and have concocted their own theories such as critical race theory and critical caste theory and are imposing such ideas upon the students to either accept these or forget about studying in American universities. They are grooming Indian scholars and Indian students to talk against India in various international educational forums. So they are using Indian people and not projecting themselves as anti India directly. And in this manner, they are using the Indian people to work against India. Third, they are collaborating with Indian educational institutions to invite scholars from India, brainwash them against India, and then send them back to India to spread their points of view about society and many other subjects in the name of liberal arts. Therefore, they are using India's infrastructure. In the garb of education, they are subverting the young Indian minds with their clout and brand to work against India, against Indian culture, against Hinduism, and against Indian people. Therefore, on the face of it, this all looks like an educational pursuit, an educational exercise. But in reality, it is a nefarious agenda that they are following under the garb of education. Friends, remember that when the British came to India some 1000 years back, they also used Indian money, Indian people, and India's infrastructure to plunder and loot. This is what is being done now again to work against India. And the kingpins are again the white people. What are they looting from India today? They are silently stealing huge information systems from ancient Indian texts, projecting them as Western research and selling to the world for billions of dollars. These include meditation, yoga, and now Ayurveda, which is the third category they are getting into. They have even taken a whole lot of Indian medicinal plants and have started growing them in the West. And all this is for free. They are collecting enormous amounts of data on Indian diaspora through their collaborations with Indian institutions. This again, all for free. On the other hand, they are subverting the minds of young Indians, training their minds to be anti Hindu and developing a sentiment against Hinduism by feeding them incorrect notions about Hindu religion. Thus, the West is making their best efforts to somehow ensure that the present government does not come to power again and India reaches great heights. If any of you would like to get into greater details, please read these two books, Breaking India and snakes in the Ganga. Both of these books have been written by Sri Rajiv Malhotra. He has given ample evidences and has drawn the exact map how the West is trying to break India further. I am not promoting these two books, but would request those who have any doubt about what I have just said. So, this talk is to make the young Indians beware of the near future. India today stands at a very precarious position and is on the verge of becoming a major superpower. Therefore, all Indians and especially Hindus must make all efforts not to get swayed by what is happening in the educational institutions and what they are trying to teach the younger generation about India and its culture. Now, I will briefly inform you and tell you about the power of Indian culture and Indian knowledge. Friends, as I told you that besides engineering, I have also studied about 400 ancient Indian texts during the last 50 years or so. On the basis of my studies and research into ancient Indian texts, I'll give you a glimpse of power of our own Hindu religion. 1. Friends, all of you know that this entire world is run by intelligence. I think nobody can dispute this fact. But all of the world's educational institutions are providing only and only skill education. There is not even one educational institution in the world which is working to enhance human intelligence. Repeat, there is no education anywhere in the world which works towards enhancing human intelligence. Modern Western education systems do not have even a clue about human intelligence. Although the West have done a lot of research on human and animal psychology, even today there is not even one definition of intelligence acceptable by the world scientific community. And do you know that it is the ancient Indian education system which starts the education by correcting the intelligence of young minds? The teachings of our age-old ancient system of Sanatan Hindu Dharma starts with how to correct human intelligence. 2. The modern science, with all its advancements, is clueless about our system of existence. It is clueless about the system of nature that we are living in. Darwin's theory has already been proven incorrect by recent advances in research on human DNA. Friends, it is only and only ancient Hindu scriptures which completely explain the system of existence on earth. Friends, do you think the problem the earth is facing can be solved without understanding the system of existence that we live in? They cannot be solved. So it is only Sanatan Hindu Dharma which completely explains the system of existence. Therefore, it is only Sanatan Hindu Dharma which can solve the world problems. 3. Modern Western scientific research has indirectly discovered the existence of gods. No, I am not talking about God particle. And yes, friends, you will be surprised to know that this has already happened. Those who will be interested in knowing more about this should listen to our video on Brahm. So friends, today the world is clueless about the existence of gods. There are lots of discussions on social media. But do you know that only and only ancient Indian texts explain not just many gods, but the exact system of gods? It is only Sanatan Hindu Dharma which completely defines the system of gods. This is also explained in our lectures. 4. Not just explaining the system of gods, Sanatan Hindu Dharma gives the exact methodologies of how to contact gods. Yes, friends, these exact methodologies do enormously change the quality of your life. This I am telling you from my own experiments as well as my own experience. And there are not one or two ways, but thousands of ways in which one can really establish contact with the gods. No other religion in the world has this knowledge. 5. All of us continue to face all kinds of problems in our lives, throughout our lives. But can these problems be solved by the physics, chemistry, maths, engineering we study in our high school and universities? They cannot be solved. First of all, what are the reasons that the problems arise in our lives? Then, what are the ways to solve the problems in life? Friends, all of this knowledge is again completely explained in Sanatan Hindu Dharma ancient texts. 6. The most important, health. Friends, do you know that with all of the advancements in modern sciences and modern medicine, 95.4% of the world population is having some health problem or the other, and only 4.6% of the world population is disease free. I'm not saying this has been said by the Lancet Journal. The most disturbing factor is that the trends of health problems are increasing over the last 20 years or so. All of you are aware of gyms these days, but do you know that the Western exercise system are only for the development of muscles in the body? But what about the human system that is running those muscles? It is only and only yoga that corrects that system which is running those muscles. These are the 6 immense powers of Sanatan Hindu Dharma. Do you also know that in the last 800 years or so, there has not been even one organized system of learning of our ancient Hindu texts? There is no university or educational institution in the world which is giving an organized knowledge from ancient Indian texts. For that reason, we have established Uma Kailash Foundation. Our methodology of bringing the knowledge of ancient Indian texts will be completely different from the conventional ways that people use to teach about our scriptures. It is entirely different from what you will get anywhere in the world. We shall be teaching every aspect in context with the modern life that we live today. How we can actually apply all of the ancient Indian knowledge to real life today. How we can use this knowledge to make ourselves more intelligent and therefore more prosperous and healthy. So I would ask the youth of India to wake up to the enormous possibilities that the ancient Hindu texts throw up for the modern India, and beware of the designs of the other communities working against the interests of India. Jai Hind.